Boom, baby. It's the MeMe Show. How y'all doing? As always, the MeMe Show is brought to you by Little Skunky Products. Stay skunky. Today, we have Brian Tavares at Cloud Surfer Farm Boy on
Yes,
Instagram,
yes,
right? Okay. And you have cannabis farm and you have doggies, and most importantly, you have, and what we're here to talk about today is you have two coloring books.
yes. Yeah, I'm very excited about it.
See, and I was just telling you, and I'll repeat it, that I've heard a lot of people in my life say that they want to make a coloring book, but nobody does anything.
Dude, yeah, got to put action there, right?
Right. So you did it and you've done it twice. So how long has this last coloring book been out?
The last coloring book has been out, I think, about 2 weeks now. Yeah.
2 weeks? All right. So we're new. Okay. I got to get in there and support and get me one. Uh,
Yeah, I would love to
and
send.
oh, thank you. I'll get it from Amazon, like
Oh, appreciate
everybody else. That's
it.
free.
Thank you. You're
Yeah. And I wanted you to tell people. I know you got to the point of making it, to where it was a thought and then it was a creation and then now it's on sale. Yeah. But what what is it that they're coloring? What
my
are your
latest.
images?
Yeah, my latest coloring book is specific cultivars, strains, and cannabis varieties that I've had experience with, or that I've been very intrigued by. So yeah, and we go
What?
through like landrace varietals, as well as some new crosses that I'm very excited about. Some of the newer ones like White Thorn Rose, Hetty
Yeah.
OG,
Wait,
and then
so
some of
it's
the classic.
pictures of weeds, of different strains of weeds?
Yes, yeah. You have a strain of
That's
cannabis in
right.
your color, and there's like a 5 sentence summary at the bottom is just little facts about it. So trying to bridge the gap between
Oh,
education and art a little bit, so you can learn and have fun a little
yeah.
bit. So
Yeah. What? That's cute. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna like that because I saw the first one, and in the first coloring book, you had like scenes like of you in the forest and with the doggies, and that's when we had met, and you told me that these were, your memories and the things that while you're out, the things you've seen, and then you turned it into images in your first coloring book.
yeah, that first book is really close to my heart. It doesn't just portray me and my everyday life. Portrays my family and my dogs. I love my dogs with all my heart. They're my best friends. They're waiting for me outside
They
right
look
now.
like big
But
doggies on the coloring book. They look
yeah,
like they're
they're
big
big, but they're
doggies.
big. They're so sweet. They're really good girls. I got 3 girls too, all girls. Yeah, Lola,
Wow.
Leia, and Lily. Yeah,
Shout out to the puppies. Do you name them in the book? Like, do you call them out?
yeah. I actually call
Yeah.
them out. Yeah,
See,
I
that's what
think.
I'm talking about. That's what art is. I think art is so. It has to be about you. That way, you don't care if people like it or not. Shown up,
Yeah, I mean,
because it's you.
my
It's about you.
yeah, and my relationship with cannabis is very close to like with my dogs and my family and stuff. So
Yeah.
I'm very fortunate to have the support of the family and the pups.
You grow how many strains yourself?
Um, what honestly, there hasn't been a really set number. Last year, it was closer to like 78 different varieties. We were doing some serious
Yeah.
pheno hunting, and this year I think I have like 27 different varieties, mostly from I got these from a specific breeder that I actually met at Hash Hole Island when I met you. His name is James
Nice.
Loud. Yeah. So
Shout
I'm
out to
learning a lot of his
James.
breeder. Yeah,
Isn't that
big guy.
nice though that you can meet some people, get some seeds, and grow something, beautiful? And
Yes.
that's amazing.
Yeah, and especially with my terroir, like the land that I have hasn't really been tapped in. I think I had one previous owner, an older gentleman that really didn't mess with the land too much. So the land is just so nice. Like my native soil is just
Your
beautiful.
soil.
There's everything I need. Yeah.
You're not going nowhere.
No, I love it. It's
Yeah,
hard to
you
go to
found
work.
your
I
oasis.
love what I do. Yeah.
Yeah, you found
So
your oasis. Um, do you know when you're doing your next book? I know it's just been 2 weeks, but do you have already pages? Because like I have a bunch of songs just waiting?
I
Do you have images or pages and things already waiting on you to do?
you know what? As far as like coloring goes, I haven't I haven't really thought about doing anything else like other than the one that I have. But my latest book, though, I did drop a book. I think exactly 7 days ago, and it's just literature on how to shop at a dispensary. It's called Beyond THC: How to Shop at a Cannabis Dispensary for Beginners. You know, I'm just trying to explain to
Okay.
people, you know, how to
Yeah.
look for, you know, to get with
Wait,
what
no,
you
that's
want.
really
Yeah.
good. Yes. Yeah. How to shop? What's it called again? How to shop
It's called
for
Beyond
TH.
THC: How to Shop for Cannabis at any dispensary.
Nice.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
I
that's
just
so
you know,
useful.
yes, yes, yes.
That's
I
so
work at a
useful.
dispensary, and it would be very helpful if there was a little, you know, handbook on this. And yeah, it's available on Amazon right now. It's about $5, but I just wanted to put something out there for the novice, you know,
That's
consumer
right.
to check out before they come in, because it's a little overwhelming when you come into a dispensary for the first time, especially the artistry in Fresno. Our store is immaculate. We have so many different options. It's like trying to find something to eat at Denny's on the menu, you know. So
Oh man. Yeah, I can't even choose.
yes,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know, no.
I remember back in the day when I say back in the day when I first moved to California and saw that dispensaries was a thing. Now uh that was like what 7 8 years ago.
What?
So the laws were a little different,
Yes.
and they gave away a lot more samples of stuff.
Yes. Yeah.
Little by little, they started where you had to like pay a penny or $1, and then it got to where there's no everything is you got to pay for everything. There's no samples, no freebies, no nothing. Uh, but I remember back then, for the first time seeing a dispensary and how it was so kind. Those people were so kind, and like you said, beyond THC, that wasn't even a conversation. Like what percentages is so now, THC percentage and things like that. That's so, I feel like so now. Back then, they didn't even, the lady just wanted to know what feeling I wanted to have. It's like, what feeling are you going for? What actually are you going, to do intentionally wise when you smoke? What's your intention? I'm like, that's a good question.
Precisely. Precisely. And I believe that the personal touch at the dispensary, we've there's some distance between the customer, you know, and the dispensary these days. We try to give a personal touch to everybody at my dispensary, but again, it's one dispensary out of thousands here in California. So
Yeah,
yeah, I miss the 215 days. I miss when it was more about the culture and the love of the plant. But you know
yeah,
what? I'm looking forward to the future. We could still, you know, bring
exactly.
back that
And you got this book. And you got this book that'll help the people who are new into this that are not going to get treated like that. I don't know
yes.
where you can go in and they'll actually just uh, uh, um, serve to your soul instead of to your pocket anymore. I
Exactly.
think,
It's a number driven, you know, kind of community now. People come in and they're like, "Hey, what has the highest number?" And you know, I try my best to,
yeah,
you know, re-educate people as far as, you
yeah,
know, the numbers and the terpenes and the thiols and whatnot, and how this plays in, you know, we have a full spectrum high thing going on here. You know, the
okay,
number is THC is
yeah,
one number out of 500 different cannabinoids, and they all, you know, work with each other
right.
like a fine-tuned machine. So
Right. And I'm excited about learning about terpenes when I first learned about terpenes and learned which strains to kind of stay away from. Uh,
yes,
that's a whole nother do you talk about that in your book
yes,
about the
that's
different
something
terpenes that you want to, depending on what you're going for?
exactly. I go over that. That is very important. Small example. I have there's a person who comes in my job, a customer that comes in my job, and she is allergic to lavender and things that have linalool in them. And cannabis has terpenes that are
Mm,
very similar to linalool. She was buying this certain variety. I can't remember the name of the cultivar off the top of my head, but it was high in linalool, and her throat was getting swollen, and she was having these negative
oh man.
reactions. And we started talking and getting down to it, and found out that she might be allergic to strains that have, you know, high numbers of linalool in them. So ever since, you know, we've talked about this, and whenever she comes into shop, we look for
Mm,
stuff that doesn't have that or very minimal amounts, and she's just been happy. But that's a small example of how important the terpenes are. There could be something in there that maybe you're allergic to, or something that doesn't affect your biology correctly.
Right. And
So
go figure, we wouldn't know it because I think we're so flippant. The people that I've met and throughout when it comes to weed, we're so flippant. We were just like, oh, we're just trying to be high, just, I just
yeah,
want to chill. I just want to go to sleep, or I'm just trying to be that. Those are little details that probably we don't notice. Like, oh man, when I smoke this, my throat feels weird. The little details of information, pieces of information that could be useful to further enjoying the plant, right?
exactly,
Right.
exactly. You know. So, I mean,
I
just
love it.
bringing a better experience to the customer is where it's all about. I mean, with taxes going up and, all this, nonsense going on, if you're going to come into a dispensary, I want to give you exactly what you want, the best option. So,
You ever seen the show Disjointed?
yes, I have seen the show. Yeah, I was very
Okay.
sad when it off the air.
You were right, right. Just out of nowhere, just took the trips away. Um, to mind comes the scene uh, where Ruth White Feldman says to her son, "I don't want this to be an industry." And he's like, why can't we be the Walmart of
Walmart.
cannabis? Why can't we be, at every corner? And she's like, oh, don't call this an industry. This is my safe haven. And I swear I've seen it before my eyes transform, just how she said, from little safe havens to industries. Not to throw shade, but sometimes even in some dispensaries, there's not the people aren't informed.
No,
They're really just they're for sales. They're a cashier or a bud tender that what is it that's doing the
like,
service, not the
yeah,
knowledge of. Yeah,
it's like a used car salesman essentially, where they're become a pusher instead of like somebody that's
there
trying
you
to
go, the
give you the
push.
best of your needs. So,
Yeah,
and I can't speak for any other dispensary other than the Artistry Fresno, but that is something that we are not about at all. The customer experience. There's 13 or 14 different dispensaries in Fresno. You have the right to go to anyone you want, and thing that makes us stand apart is we take time to take that personal touch.
right.
So
Yeah, and for people watching, when you go to buy weed, or purchase cannabis, whatever you want to call it, like the mindset of consuming this medicine cannot be the same mindset as when we do consume like pharmaceutical drugs.
no, no,
Like there has to be an intention. It's best with an intention. It's best with knowing what you're already. I'm coming because I'm going to use it for this. I'm going to have my mind in this space. It's gonna, the plant is gonna help me. It's so ritualistic, kind of, sorta, but uh, it brings me to the mind of like back in the day, the like curanderas and the people who did things with herbs and whatnot.
yes,
Like being open to that mindset that the plants are actually going to help you. Now the environment is getting real sterile. We're getting the glass cases and the almost Apple store looking like dispensary environments. But you yourself can still, be in a conscious mind of what it is that you're going for when you go to shop.
yeah, I could be that light that shines. That's like, hey, there's still culture here in this industry.
Yeah, yeah. You can't pay for that.
I'm so sorry.
You can't pay for that. You can't
No,
pay
no,
for that.
no, you can't.
Like like the vibe, like you said, the culture and the education that people have given themselves and have worked on themselves throughout these years. Like I know I've learned a lot, and it's so not enough. It's so not enough. But when I talk to people like you, that have this like relationship, they
Yes.
have a relationship with the cannabis, with the weed. It's I don't know. It just feels different. It feels different.
Yeah, I just consider myself a steward of the plant. I mean, I think Kyle Cushman said it best when bad attitude, wrong strain. You know, I'm trying to find everybody's specific cultivar, and I think there's something
Okay.
out there for
Okay.
everybody.
Oh, let me pause you for a second. I had some sound problems. Okay, you can. Okay, I think we're good now. Okay.
No problem.
Okay. Well, to get back to, well, I don't know. Do you hear that? Do you hear any
I hear
audio?
a little echo back.
A little echo. Okay, it might be.
How do I sound? Do I sound okay?
To me, you're sounding a little odd. Give me a second here. Let me see if I can.
Let me see if I could do
This
one.
is tech. This is Tech Issues Live.
Let's
See if I can.
do.
It's easier in the audio that's coming from you. You know what? Stay right there. I'm gonna go out and then don't move. Hold on, y'all. 2 seconds. See, we're gonna